Hi everyone, Marco here, presenting the final entry for Maven Pizza channel that also was a finalist at the end. So I thought it would be a good idea to share my thought process and what I have done to get to this finish line. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you want you can leave me a comment at the end. First things first, this is the layout of the final dashboard that I submitted, but let's start with the data model and the tables that I have created. So the data set was basically full of information of sales for one of the 1 year full data for Mario's Pizza, Plato's Pizza, and it wanted to understand if we could do better and have some insights on his activity. So according to the dataset, I only added a size lookup table since I wanted to have information on the sizes, and I thought it would be, for me as a reasoning, better also to organize clearly the different opportunities, a table dedicated to these sizes, and the order size lookup, which is basically the average order values or size of order that I wanted to create from 25 up to 200 to check if the values were really consistent with the operation and what we could derive from insights on the value sides. So remember that this is not mandatory. You can follow the process that you want. I first evaluated this order value size thanks to SQL. I done some ETL also in SQL to faster analyze the data and the data set. And then I transformed everything in Power BI. Let's go back to the dashboard. In terms of quick tweaks and great content in terms of the DAX, I have nothing really to tell you. There are a lot of courses on this. What I have been doing is acting on my knowledge of Power BI, trying to leverage whatever its best practice to get to the finish line and to get to the results that I want. Concerning measures and DAX, one thing that I strongly recommend is to get better organized, to create a measure table where you can store all of the measures so you can be able to trace back them as soon as you need them and have them in one single location. As you can see, I have this average order value that it was left in order size lookup. Once you have created the measure table, it is as simple as assigning the measure to the desired table in order to have it being moved to your measure table. So now let's go back to the dashboard. You see I have created 3 columns where the data are stored, and on top we have this nice bar where you have stored all of the main KPIs: revenues, orders, pizzas, average pizza per order, and the total number of ingredients. Maybe some of them you would not use it. I have not used the 65 ingredients as part of my analysis. I just thought that would be interesting, and probably in a future iteration you could use that. In the 3 columns you have heat maps to show the trends of sales of pizza throughout the week and throughout each hour of operation, and those were helpful, these trends, to let me guess, or let me suggest better, that we should reduce the hours of operation in the morning from 11 to 22, and that would result in a loss of only 0.2% of our revenue. So basically nothing compared to the cost of staffing and paying bills of utilities for the extra 2 hours. Also, if we were to reduce the hours of operation Sunday through Thursday by an hour, so closing at 10, rather than at 11, that would also yield only a loss of 1.3%. but probably again there will be big savings. Unfortunately, there were no data to support how much savings we could obtain, but I think Mario could guess what would be the savings for 3 hours of less staffing and so on for the entire year. Last but not least, in this column you also have a heat map showing the distribution of the order values per time of the day and per values. Honestly, I selected those values by myself. There is no precise rule. I wanted to see if there were very, very big order values above 200 euros. There were a handful. The majority are in between 25 and 50. The average order value, though, is 38. So knowing that the majority of our orders are below 25, more than 8,000 are below 25, can derive a suggestion to increase the spending by, for example, creating promotion with offering a can for every 2 pizzas, something that would be creative for Mario to sell more and thus reduce the number of orders, increase the average order value, which will mean optimize the operations. The central column is dedicated to a more general look of the performances of pizza and pizza categories. I have this scatter plot that shows the distribution of quantity and revenue. So we have quantity on the x-axis and revenue on the y-axis. This is helpful to identify outliers. For example, we have this point right here that is the big, mid, small size. While this bottom left corner, we have the lowest sold and thus as well the lowest revenue. That is the XXL, the only size of XXL available. That is the Greek pizza that didn't perform well. From this scatter plot is clearly possible to highlight outliers and so tell Mario that there are some pizzas that are working very well or some pizzas that are working badly. This idea that I was introduced to by Mario Line Upstate, thanks to you, and that was really interesting because I wanted to visualize this, but I was scared of scatter plots. Seeing somebody else that I trust sharing this idea really made me use this graph as well. Underneath the scatter plot, you have 2 bar charts. I love bar charts. I think they're really effective in explaining the data when they are categorical. In this case, I'm analyzing the sales, or actually the revenues, by pizza type. And we can see that out of all of the pizza, the top 5 are mostly in the chicken category, while in the bottom 5 we have mostly vegetarian. But pay attention to the brie carre pizza. In fact, the brie carre pizza is the lowest in terms of revenue, but it's not to be excluded or removed from our menu immediately. Last but not least, we have the last column that explains that size are very important, because in this case, Greek pizza was sold in all the 5 sizes from S to XL, and the XL pizza, the only XL pizza that Mario is offering at his restaurant, was selling more than medium and large size combined. That were actually the sizes that sold the most from the other categories. So it is important not to exclude the XL size, but actually to promote more in other pizza categories. Same story goes for the brie carre pizza. From just the revenues here, probably you would have discarded the brie carre pizza as the lowest selling product, and so not successful. In my opinion, instead, it's a great success because it ranks number 2 in the small size pizza sold. And that's the only size brie carre pizza is sold. And also it ranks 9th in terms of quantity. So it is really to explore and to add in more sizes. There were also other insights described in this last text box, but actually those text box were the pain point of my entry, and I will immediately show you why. So why text was a pain point? Because you have to go and look and read through all of these text box, which takes time, and eventually I will lose the attention of the public with all the text. So this was the critics that I received by Maven guys while reviewing the pizza. Thanks Enrique for the comment. That's why I do a further iteration with this new exec dashboard 1.0, where basically I replaced all of the text boxes with minimal text and more charts or more information. So the top pick from my dashboard is that you have to adjust the staff hours. So you have to have more staff in peak hours, which is lunchtime and dinner time, especially on Fridays and Thursday that are the crowdest days. You need to reduce the opening hours, because even if you reduce the opening hours, you're only losing 0.2% of the revenues by cutting hours before 11. And if you close at 10 p.m., so at 21:59 Sunday through Thursday, you only lose 1.3%. So if you run a promotion for order placed before 21, probably you will just regain this overall 1.5% that you lost. Also, let's look at how clear is now the suggestion on the spending. We have the average value, which is 38, but 39.7% of our orders are less than 25 US dollars in spending. So promote higher spending with a marketing campaign. Any 2 order pizzas get 1 can free. Valid only Monday, Friday, 12 to 14, which is this crowded piece of time. That was not evident from the previous dashboard. Also look at how clear is the takeaway from the scatter plot. You can see that you recognize immediately that the big meat S is the top revenue with the revenue clearly stated, and that the Greek XXL is the lowest revenue, only $1,000. So probably that is to discard. Also, I have increased the size of the bottom bar chart, making it easier to read, and also simply saying top 3 are in the chicken category, 3 out of 5 bottom are in the veggie. So probably we have to review something in the veggie offering. And also look at the last column. It was full of text. Now it's full of information. It's a small difference, but it has less noise or less clutter in this case, and it's easier to read and to process and to digest. So it's evident that the Brie Curry Pizza was a great success. This is my suggestion. It's sure that the Greek Freak or the Greek pizza was to be offered in Excel. Yeah, we have to continue offering the Greek Freak in Excel, but also offer the XL size in other categories. And then this summarized my last takeaway that was almost 10 lines of code of text in a very small font. We are not sure which size to choose, so we have to run a survey. What do I mean by this? Is that we have some pizza type, like the big meat or the 4 cheese or the 5 cheese, that are offered in all of the 3 sizes, but big meat and 5 cheese are only sold in small and large size, 4 cheese only in small and large. We don't know the why, so we have to explore to simplify our menu offering and to be more effective. I hope that you like this video. If you are good enough to leave me a comment, I would appreciate that. If you want to get in touch with me, you can find me on LinkedIn, Marco Michelini. It's very easy to find. And thanks for watching, and I hope to see you soon again on my channel.